Okay. July 38, summary video. Global War 3645. Okay. Not too. Actually, there was quite a bit of weirdness that happened this round. Yeah, let's just jump to the Germans. They didn't really do too much attacking wise, but this is what's there. So the Germans attacked nothing. They just put a combat air patrol out there. They didn't even move their convoying subs or anything. They built 5 tanks there because they could, and they saved money last time. And they built a tank and motorized. Oh no, a mechanized. There we go. That's the term I was looking for. They built a tank and a mechanized, and 5 of the tanks in Western Germany. They're gearing up, and they're not doing anything yet this turn. So next turn they could start attacking people. Maybe the turn after. Who knows? It's really all the ball is in Germany's court. The British, as a result, have combined their fleets here. Put these 2 aircraft seaplanes on combat air patrol, and that's about it. They still got their escort here and a bit of a combined fleet. The British moved 2 guys from there up to there. What's the British do? They also moved the Navy that was down here up to there. Placed a couple more units. Australia placed a couple units down there. That's about all that happened with them. Alright, Italy. They just moved some subs around. There's a coastal sub here, one there, a couple subs here. Planes still in combat air patrol, and they placed a, what's the keyword I'm looking for here? Transport. There we go. So that's all Italy's done. They're still at war with nobody. Alright. The US did nothing. They didn't even move anything over here. They're still at $9. They can't even close the Panama Canal to anybody or anything. They built 1 more elite marine here for a total of 4 now. That's all the US has done. Well, Russia was busy this turn. We'll start on this side of the map. So the Russian fleet that originally started up there in Leningrad has finally made its way all the way around and placed itself here, in combination with the fleet that was here and the the submarine and destroyer that was on the place units box, plus a transport with a couple of guys on it. It's managed to move 1, 2, 3 and park itself right there. So we'll see what happens. Russia is at war with nobody, so this was open. It also had a coastal sub in there, and it's moved it out to here. It's as far as it could get. And placed a seaplane on combat air patrol, because what else does Russia do with that silly seaplane? Right. Okay. Oh, and Russia also moved the sub here that was up in Vladivostok down to here. I'm assuming they're trying to combine the fleets completely. Who knows? Or maybe Russia's going to start doing some convoy raiding on whoever it's at war with. Okay, that's what Russia did there. There was actually combat here in China. I'm going to have to angle this down a little bit and show you. Okay. So the Russians had, you can just barely see that cavalry. They had the 2 fighters and the tactical up there. Well, it went 1, 2, 3. And they attacked here with the KMT. We're using these aircraft. And were very successful with 1 or 2 losses. So they wiped out 5 infantry, 2 light tanks, and a cavalry. And then they were successful on their recruitment roll, so they got an extra dude here, reinforced from back here to the front, and they built a mountain. So The KMT is looking pretty strong versus what the Japanese has left. At the end of that, Japan had no units here, nothing here. And so when Japan had its turn, it took a bunch of stuff it built in Japan, and actually took these units from here, amphibiouusly assaulted, along with light tank and all the aircraft around here on 3 guys to take a place worth 2 right next to the city. I can see that, you know, Japan may want to move forward out of that city and take this place as well. That way the city doesn't need to be defended and the troops can be used on the front rather than sitting back side by side. I presume that's the plan, but we'll see what happens. Japan's been a little bit under fire here. Finally, this place was taken for $1. So, strange things have happened. This is why I like doing that house rule with China, where you give a couple places to the KMT. It makes it sporting for both sides, or for to the CCP, because otherwise all these units, half these units that were used here by the CCP would have been all used by the KMT, and they would have just piled them down here and protected the Burma Road, and that's all they would have done, right? That's usually what ends up happening. But this is prime example of Japan needs to be very aggressive here, or back out and let these two sides fight each other again. And yeah, Russia's allowed to fly its own planes in China as its own, as though they were Lend-Lease, but they go on the Russian turn. So that's the same turn as the CCP, so they're probably going to fly with them, fly with their land attacks. And yeah, Russia can pull those guys out whenever they want. KMT then counterattacked and just walked into this empty place and dropped a guy. So these are just reinforcements to the city from the Japanese reinforcements from the island of Japan. All right, and Burma Road is open, so these guys get to collect, or these guys get a bonus $1 again, and they get to build artillery and anti-aircraft guns. Fun fact, that could be interesting. And speaking of which, I forgot to give them their bonus $1 for that. And the CCP now collect $3, plus they get a bonus from Xinjiang being connected to USSR owned territory. And next turn, the USSR is capable of doing attacks of its own, which means it can increase the CCP bonus if they happen to own either this place or that place, anything connected to Russian-owned territory, right? Things could get sporting. Russia cannot actually use its land units in here, however, so far as I know. It'd be nice if they could, considering they're fighting with their allies, but I believe it has to be a Lend-Lease because it's a civil war. If Russia moves in there, then the CCP would probably, or the communists would actually attack them to get them out. Except for they can't be at war with each other, so they wouldn't, but the KMT would be at war with the Russian units in there. All right, I don't really have much else that's going on. Let's see. The Dutch didn't do anything. They saved up their money. They have $3. They might buy another one of these next turn. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I forgot this. I felt it was a one turn. Regularly, the Dutch get placed a free destroyer on turn 2. It just seemed wrong to take that away and in exchange give them a single commando. So I gave them that destroyer. We'll see how that plays out. I don't think it's going to affect anything really because it's just one destroyer. And the Dutch are doing what I would do. They are recognizing that the Japanese are being aggressive and they move these ships down here, who will be moving through the Med and to here. I counted it out, and it's going to take 2 or 3 turns to get here. And if they went through the Panama Canal over there, this way instead, the fastest I could get it is in 5 turns. So we're doing the most brief route. All right, and that is the end of July 38. I'm just going to wander over to the tech chart because there were some changes that actually occurred this time. So yeah, these guys have moved up and down and whatever. They're back up 1 again. Nobody else has changed. Japan was up to 24 and then down and up and down and whatever, but we're at 23 at the end of the turn here. The Germans successfully completed jet aircraft. Americans successfully got heavy bombers. Everybody failed to roll this. Wartime economy. And improved shipyards was a success for the British. So, British, American, and Germans were successful in the rolls, and that's that. Oh, one little thing happened. Lend-lease of an artillery, successful recruitment roll, and attack on here against 1 infantry was successful with no losses. So there we go. That was the entire turn, and that's every faction that did anything, including the ones that just sat on their hands and say bought a tech roll and a couple of units. Oh, there was a couple other changes here. For builds, the British moved this light carrier and cruiser from stage 3 to stage 2. And the Americans moved this fleet carrier and cruiser from stage 3 to stage 2 on the build chart. So one more turn spinning, and these things are all placeable. Nobody else has moved anything forward yet. The Japanese I was going to move some stuff forward for them, and then the CCP attacked them and won. So yeah, they're much better than the warlords or than the KMT because they don't run away. They're like a real army. Anyway, so that is the end of that turn. July 38 is completed. I will see you next turn, and probably tomorrow in real life on January 39, which is the turn that Russia is allowed to attack anything, anywhere, anytime, for any reason whatsoever. And things could get sporting. And then July 39 is when everybody starts to roll income increases. So 2 turns away. We'll see what happens. So far, the Allies have been really good at keeping everybody's income down and increasing their own as much as they can without, just building up. But that's about to end. So we'll see what happens in the next turn or 2. All right. See you then. Bye.